Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Dan Rock's Rockbox. Whether you're joining us from our YouTube channel or Facebook, welcome. Nice to see people are already here. No surprise because we have an amazing, lovely lady joining us in a few moments. So hope everybody is okay and everyone is well. All having a nice time. Okay. Was there any crystal connections anyone wants to go through? For those of you who have joined for Hilary Stanley, she is coming on. But for those of you who have been with Dan Rock's box over the few weeks, we've been doing crystal connections. So we just take a couple of minutes at the beginning of each video just to see where everybody is with their connections. So if there's any of those, let's go for them and get them over and done with. If not, I will happily announce our lovely guest. One thing I would like to say is a huge thank you to everybody who supported us last night on our market. An absolute amazing turnout. So for all those people that shared the page, thank you so much. And it was really nice this morning. I had a lovely message to wake up to from a lady who it was her first time at the market yesterday, and she really commended us on how personal it was, how safe it felt, and how at ease she was, which made my heart burst with joy. So I can only take a small percentage of that. The huge percentage is for all the lovely viewers who came on last night and welcomed her. It's a really nice group that we've formed throughout lockdown, so that was really nice. And also a big huge shout out to Sarah, who, bless her, Serenity Radio was launched today, and she gave us a shout out for the work we've been doing throughout the lockdown. So thank you so much for that, Sarah. It's wonderful to do, and we only do it because you guys are here. So it's an amazing group that we have. Shadi. Oh, okay. So Shadi, funny you've mentioned dragon there. Hopefully there might be time for us to delve into a little bit of dragon energy tonight. So Scholarcite. Scholarcite is a nice crystal to use to remember your dreams. It's a nice cool recall dream stone. So if you use that, that should help improve the memory, or just quartz itself. Okay. Other than that, if you've got any record keepers, you normally find record keepers, which are the triangles, natural occurring triangles on quartz or on rubies. If you sleep with that under your pillow, when you've done your traveling, if you hold that again and meditate, you should get a recall from where you went and what happened. Okay, but we can also throw that question to our amazing guest tonight. Please have your questions lined up for her, and when there is chance, we will get to go through the questions throughout the evening. You connected with the Lemurian quartz that arrived the other day. I was traveling inside the wand and travelled through a northern light sky. It was wonderful. Okay, lovely, Leslie. Beautiful. That is an amazing connection. So that was the blade of light, I do believe, that you got from us. So yes, fantastic. So beautiful. Okay. So if there is any more that pop up, I'll answer them at the end. But let's get tonight's show on the road. So she's had a busy day, bless her, which we'll talk a little bit about during tonight as well. And this is not the first time that she's been interviewed today, but she's a huge, huge member of the ROX family. It's so lovely to go out and about and be with this beautiful lady. She's brought the dragons down to Exeter last year. Sadly, this weekend should have been her Violet Flame Foundation course, but the world had other plans, so no doubt she'll come back in the future to do that. But if we are all ready, and if we are sitting, she's not ready yet. Okay, Carolyn, let's have a chat with you. You connected to your 2 dragon skulls and sat in a serpentine circle and sent out lots of light into the world. Beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, and there isn't really any true stones that is good for that disease. We can only go and support and go around that. Okay, so yeah, I will definitely, I'm not a trained profession. I have no medical background, so I can't recommend any stones for that in itself. I can recommend stones for going through the treatment, being supportive and being positive. That is all I can suggest. Okay, so as you come back from the dragons, okay, see, this is why we have the crystal connections, so we can have a little. Oh, absolutely, Avril. I sleep with my crystals. And the good thing with sleeping with crystals is you can sleep with more than one and you don't get called a name. It's brilliant. It's amazing that, you know, I have a good man to sleep next to, but I also have a lot of crystals as well. At the moment, I'm sleeping with black calcite, chrysocolor, and aquamarine. They're the 3 main stones that I am with, but then I've also got some others around me which I can grab and change if I need to. But yes, or yeah, you know. And to be honest, if I was wearing a bra, Karen, I'd rather have crystals in my bra than a man. So absolutely. Is there any what crystals are people sleeping with? Is there any that we are sleeping with just while we are trying to bring Hilary back from the realm of wherever she's gone to? If we have a nice, what do we sleep with at night? Yeah. To be fair, Avril, I think I would need to be about 3 or 4 cup sizes to have the amount of crystals I want, which is funny enough because we were having a conversation this morning with somebody came to pick up their crystals and she showed me some harem pants, so she brought them along so I could feel, because I'm quite picky of what harem pants I wear. So she brought them along so I could have a feel to see if they're the right material. And they come with pockets, which is a godsend because there's so many harem pants and I don't that don't have pockets, which is a huge problem for me because I don't go anywhere without crystals. And if I haven't got pockets, I'm like, how can I hold the crystals and still do what I need to do out in the big wide world? So yeah, harem pants with crystals, brilliant. Need pockets. Oh, Roz. Hello, Roz. Nice to see you here, sweetheart. Golden healer, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Nice comment, Shardy. Nice comment. I thought you meant a Amazonite. Beautiful, Haley. Carolyn, don't take your amethyst upstairs. Take your bed downstairs. Yes, what a beautiful combination. I love manganese calcite. Manganese calcite is my sleepy stone. It's so soft. It's so comforting. Yeah, it's just like lying on a big fluffy cloud. I love it. Lepidolite and iolite. Iolite is raising the vibes here. I'm a huge iolite fan. So big up the iolite love. I'm glad that there's people who are mentioning it. When you said, Haley, when you said the Amazonite and graphite, I thought, oh, is that one you got from us? Because I know in the past we've had Amazonite and graphite. So beautiful. It would be a statement. Absolutely. So I'm just waiting to hear from ground control up above to give me a sign to let me know that Hilary is back in the realm of Earth and that we are raring to go. Biggles? Yeah. Yay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we're all sitting comfortable, drinks in hand, please give a warm welcome to our amazing friend, the Violet Flame, the Queen of the Dragons. Move over, Daenerys. You're done with. There's only one Queen of Dragons in town, and it's the wonderful Hilary Stanley. Hello.
Hello. At last. I don't know whether it's the crap weather, but your voice is really, really cracked. But blessed are the cracked. Yeah. But I can see you now. So how are you? You had the first mention, the first shout out on Serenity Radio. That was amazing.
I can't, and I'm so gutted that we missed it.
I know.
we were having our we had people coming to collect crystals, so I had my intentions all set. I had the radio on, I had the app downloaded. I've had the app downloaded for about 2 weeks now, and I was ready, but I went outside to have a nice chin wag and a catch up with a friend and missed the beginning.
That was it. Missed. Never mind. You're all right now.
Never mind. Do you know what? We've had a bit of a busy day.
Good.
But yeah, busy but good. And I've just finished a workshop on aromatherapy. So yeah, I mean, you had a busy day. This is your second interview.
I know. I shall have to be tomorrow. Quiet day tomorrow.
I'll have to. I know I got some tips from Michelle. I did watch the interview, and that was amazing interview, sweetheart. You did a good job. So I got some tips off Michelle. So I'm hopefully going to be an equally good.
How do you hear you?
Can you not hear me?
Okay. I can hardly hear you. It's all very clipped and broken and static.
Right.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yours is really bad.
I'll keep myself short and simple. So, if you'd like to just introduce yourself and a bit about what you do.
Oh, God. Yeah. Hello, everybody listening to Dan ROX's ROX Box. I do all sorts of things. So, what do? I kind of call myself a spiritual energy teacher because I try and connect people with all different spiritual realms and dimensions, all the energy that's out there in whatever form. So that's kind of my main thing that I do. But I started off doing tarot readings. I grew up in a spiritual family, so it was all quite sort of well spoken about and comfortable with it. Used to travel out of body a lot as a child and thought that was all normal. And then I made friends with a medium when I was going through a crap time, and I went to find out, why do I keep picking the wrong man? So another disastrous relationship went down the pan, and I went and I made friends with this medium, and she used to come round in the evening. She knew I was on my own with 2 young children, so she'd come round in the evenings and she'd bring a bottle of wine, and sometimes she'd bring her tarot cards. And she said one day, I'm not sure what to do. I've got a query. At the time, she was thinking of moving, and she said, she pushed her cards across to me and she said, do me a reading. And I went, no, I can't. I don't know what they are. And she said, well, your granddad says you do. So that was kind of it. She taught me the major arcana. So for years, I would do tarot readings. And for years, I thought, when people said, oh, that was really good, that was really helpful, I'd think, whew, that was lucky. And it took a long time before I trusted that I could do it. So I started off, just tarot reading. And then I learnt Reiki, and then all sorts of other things. You know what it's like. It snowballs, doesn't it, from that? But it was like being on the runway for a long, long time. And Reiki was my lift off. That's what gave me the wings. But yeah, past lives I do more past life readings now, because that ability to go out of my body enabled me to go and trace people's energy back into the past, because beyond this physical life, there's no time and no space. Well, there is, but it kind of doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So I trace people's energy back into the past and help them see where they've come from, what they've done, and often why they still struggle with things now, because we bring that energy through. So that's what I do. And amongst all the other violet flame and all the other energies that I work with.
Which is quite interesting. How am I sounding?
Bit better.
Okay. Because when we were discussing the other day, about what we would do tonight, we had a program, and then right at the end, we
changed it.
We flipped it. We flipped it around and went. No, we spent. I mean, I hope you brought your night flasks and sleeping bags, because we only were doing a little catch up 2.5 hours later.
Oh, it was.
You know, so we must have spent about 2 hours and 15 minutes putting a plan together, and then in the last 15 minutes went, we'll reverse it. So tonight,
yeah, that sounds about right.
It does, absolutely. So tonight we're going to be discussing the past lives first.
Yes.
Should there be any room, we will talk about another thing, but if not, I am more than welcome to have this lady back on and to discuss all the other amazing workshops and practices that you do. So the past, and also just like Ro on Wednesday night, you and the head of production have had messages behind my back about pictures and things. So the host doesn't know when you want certain pictures being sent up.
Okay.
So just talk to your best friend Biggles when you want pictures being brought up, okay?
Okay.
Because I've heard that there is some that's been sent.
They were the dragons. I sent the dragons just in case we get onto them.
Okay.
But we may not.
We may not.
We may not.
So the past lives, Hilary.
Yes. It started off. When I moved back down to Bournemouth, and I always thought that these out of body experiences were perfectly normal and everybody did them. And I went to a garden party and there was a medium there, and she said, "God, Hilary, you do a lot of astral traveling." And I thought, "No, I don't go anywhere." And she said, "Your energy goes out of your body just so quickly and easily." And I went, "No, it doesn't." I thought that was quite rude. I thought, no, that made me feel a bit, what does she think I am? Haven't I got control of my energy or something? So I didn't know what she meant. And she described to me the feeling of, and I'm sure a lot of you will recognize this, because a lot of all of us, we do travel out of body. We just don't know that we do it. So she said, when you feel that sudden thud within your body, and it's as if everything, all the molecules inside you are shaking, as if you don't quite fit back into this physical form, and you don't know who you are, you don't know where you are. And I went, "Oh yeah, that happens all the time, but that's normal." And she went, "No, not quite like that." And I said, "Yes, when I was little, I would be sitting in my bedroom or something, and then I'd just drift off, and I'd feel that thud back in my body, and I would very often think I was a grown man. I must have been about 7 or 8, and I would think, why are there pink roses on the walls in this room? Where am I? Who am I?" And I'd look around the room looking for something that was familiar. And I had a rabbit, not like your lovely, not like Lex, but my Mrs. Bunny. And I'd pick her up and think, "Oh yes, I'm Hilary. Oh yes, I live here, and my sister's in the other room. And oh yes, I know who I am. I know why there's pink flowers on the walls, because I chose the wallpaper." And I just thought that, that's normal. And this lady Betty said to me, she said, there must be a reason why you do it. She said, I want you to learn how to control that and how to be able to let your energy go out of your body at will. So I said, well, what do I do? And she said, just practice, take a deep breath and let yourself go. So I did there and then, and it was lovely. I was somewhere else. And then I heard her calling me and I thought, oh, where am I? And she went, yeah, like that. Like that. You can do that whenever you want. You don't have to wait for it to happen. It used to happen a lot at school, and I'd get into terrible trouble because I would just suddenly be somewhere else. And my best friend used to say, Hilary, you look scary. You're just sitting there staring. You don't blink. You don't move. And I'm thinking, it was history, you know.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I was just kind of, I then practiced and I asked my guides and said, take me out. And she said, you go out and you do healing work. So I went, okay. So I sat in my chair that night and I thought, right, I'm going to go and let my energy go. And I'm going to go somewhere where I'm needed. So I did. I went out and I was giving some healing to a child, and this child opened its eyes and looked at me, and that freaked me out because she could see me. And I sort of thudded back into my body and thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this. It was just a shock. Not scary. Nothing ever frightens me, but it was a shock that somebody had seen me. So yeah, so I just practiced really until I can do it. I can close my eyes and let my energy go. So that's what I do. And to me, it's just fun. It's just fun.
That's amazing. Karen, our friend Karen, she just says it happened to her a lot.
Yes.
Why do I see things sometimes that are not nice?
Because sometimes things out there aren't nice, Karen. You know, we're not all love and light on this earth. So we're not all love and light out there either. The thing is to not be afraid, not be scared of it. There's nothing that they can do, but there are some energies on other worlds that are very deformed and very they're just sort of, they've not lived a life where they've been at their higher self. So they just look deformed, or they look, I suppose that's really rude and judgmental to us to say ugly, but they're distorted. Their energy, their soul is distorted. And just send them love, send them, you know, pity them really, because they're just on a different journey. But there's nothing to be scared of. So sometimes they're not nice, but there's such a lot out there, just like there is such a lot of love on this earth. There's a lot out there that is all love and light. So ask your guides to keep you safe. Make sure that you're working with those higher frequencies. But yeah, it does happen a lot. And if you are out there and you see something horrid, call me. I'll come and sort it. Because that's something else I do.
Bless you. Thank you so much, Karen. But you use tools as well for your past life work. Do you call them tools, your pyramids?
They just enhance the energy. They're things that I do use the pyramid energy, because pyramids are just the geometric shape of them are energy of transformation, and this is why they built so many in ancient civilizations and cultures, to see their pharaohs or to see their gods through to the afterlife. So they're very useful. If I'm in a very busy place like a show, it's very useful to have that contained energy in which to release anything from a past life, because then it doesn't whiz out into the show. It doesn't affect anybody else. But there are things that I don't need to do it, and I only use them in shows and things like that. Same with the crystals. I do use crystals, particularly if I'm doing a healing. And if I'm doing a healing and I sense a past life issue coming up, I'll use crystals on the body, or I'll use crystals to heal them, to heal people. But apart from that, it's just me and my head and my heart.
Beautiful, beautiful. Can I put another question your way?
Yes,
this is from Lucy, one of our regulars, bless her. Her 5-year-old daughter does too. She has angels she plays with at night. She has told me all about where they go and what they do. She has her special angel called Elizabeth.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, Lucy, how nice. I have another friend whose little girl has just started talking to dragons, and she has a dragon with her. And these energies are absolutely lovely. And yes, they go off into other realms and play and learn. Children are very, very closely connected with their spiritual self. It's something we tend to lose as we get older. For some of us, we lose it for a while and it comes back, which is very common. But small children, I saw my granddaughter go out of her body when she was 6 months old, and that was just, yeah, they do. Children do. You'll see their breathing suddenly go very, very shallow. And, you know, if you sense energy and feel that they've gone, if you're concerned, then go after them. And usually then they just take a deep breath in and they're back. And they go off and they do. The archangels, Gabriel is the one that works most closely with children. So he's the archetypal archangel with golden hair and dressed in white with big white wings. So he's the one that a lot of children see. But that's really beautiful, Lucy. Just if she says that, just tell her it's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely, yeah, because Carolyn Big, she's just commented to say, please don't let her forget her angel. I love that more people are open to it now. My parents just put it as an imaginary friend, and it's not real. The angels will protect her.
Yes, yes.
So,
a lot of imaginary friends. Yes, a lot of them are children in spirit. They're often ones that have been within the family and lost and just stay around. And they stay around, and if a new baby comes into the family, well, it's just a new playmate. So, yes, imaginary friends are wonderful. Except, did you ever see a film called Drop Dead Fred?
Yes.
Rick Mail.
Dog poo, dog poo, dog poo, dog poo. Yes. I don't know if we can say dog poo at 6:30 in the evening, but sorry, guys, I did. That was amazing. Didn't we all want an imaginary friend like that?
Brilliant. Yes, that was my daughter's favourite, but she won't let her daughter watch it.
No. Yes, our times change.
Yes.
Yeah. But there is other things that we can use to help us connect with our past lives.
Yeah, do you want to do the crystals?
Shall we do the crystals? Shall we come together in gorgeous harmony? I mean, this is what I love about this lady. We use Wednesdays and Saturdays to come on and for them to promote what they do. And this gorgeous lady turns around and goes, shall we do something together? You can bring the crystals. And I'm just like, you're an absolute diamond. So, yes, we can start with we can do the crystals now. Absolutely. I've got my order here. If you want to take control, and then I'll be your Debbie McGee.
Oh yeah, my glamorous assistant. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. These are just when I'm doing any healing and I'm doing healing work, if there's any past life issues that come up, or to come up with somebody else, or when I first started trying to focus on this, the first crystal I used was Shattuckite, because for me that Shattuckite is the stone of atom and let me travel the universe. It's that sort of safe journey out of body. Lovely, look at that. I'd hold that and I'd think, right, let's go, and I've got that energy to bring me back. And it was very smooth. I didn't ever feel I needed protection when I was out of body, because it's just, to me, it's perfectly natural. But that enabled me, when I was learning how to control it, that enabled me to have a really smooth journey. And I very, very quickly, working with that, would lose the travel. So there'd be sort of a minute or two where I wouldn't know where I was, and then I was already somewhere else. And that didn't matter whether it was another galaxy far, far away, or whether it was in a different universe. But Shattuckite is the one that kind of, the journey went in a flash. So it was always a little bit like, warp speed on Star Trek. I could just straight there, and I could come back as smoothly. So that, for me, when I was learning to control, it was a really, really brilliant crystal to work with. So Shattuckite is always one that I'm really, really fond of. I always keep some with me. As I say, now I just go. But when I was learning, so if you do travel out of body and you're comfortable with it, you don't feel you need to be protected, so you just want that smooth journey there and smooth journey back, then I can highly recommend Shattuckite. It's beautiful.
Stunning stone.
Thank you very much. Demonstrated here beautifully.
My hands were made for modelling. Just a shame my face was not.
The next one I use often is Nuummite. Now, I do have a nice Nuummite wand, so if I'm doing any healing work, I can draw any past life issues to the surface. It's very black with gold flecks of pyrite in that really, really shine. It has that sort of, often that slightly blue flash as well, but to me it's the little specks of black. It's one that I use very much for if I'm going out and I'm looking for something. If somebody has a specific reason to need to trace a fear or something back into a past life, to me it's like looking through the blackness of space and going, there it is. That's the spark I need. So that's Nuummite, because it's got 2W, is a lovely stone to find that. So when I'm looking for something, that's the one that I use. And so I use a wand of it when I'm doing crystal healing. I spiral out and draw out, or draw to the surface, any past life issues so that we can see them and clear them. So it's a lovely, lovely stone to use. Really nice pieces there. And of course, all these stones, ROX does have a supply of them. So if there's any that you think you like, then I'm sure you can buy them afterwards. Because
we should be on QVC, sweetheart.
Yes, we should. Yeah, let's do it. Right, so next one that I really like, that I associate a lot with past lives, is the phantom quartz. It's a lovely quartz where you can see that over hundreds of years, probably thousands of years, the quartz has formed, and you see the shape of the point, and then another is over the top, and then another layer. So you get this there, look at that. That's a beautiful example. So you can see all those lines within that piece of quartz where it's grown and stopped and grown and stopped and grown and stopped. And this takes hundreds, thousands of years, and you can see clearly all those different layers. So when you're doing any past life work, it's lovely to have one of those, to think it's like peeling off the layers of an onion. You can go back through step by step by step and see what's within it. That's well done, Adam. That's a lovely photograph. Love that. And you've got some nice examples there of those, of the phantom quartz. It is, they're beautiful to use if you're trying to look through the layers and through the veils of into the past, particularly. So that's a nice one. Oh, smoky phantom.
Yes,
I can see that from here. Yeah, that will help. The smoky will help detox those layers and help to bring those, bring those to the surface. Right, the next one I use sometimes is Variscite. Now, Variscite is a lovely crystal, greeny beige. It's very soft, and it's a lovely stone. It's a stone I've put with the two Marys when I do the workshop on Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, because it's the stone of no judgment. So when you think we go back into our lives, sometimes we've done awful things. Sometimes we haven't been all love and light because we've had to learn. There's a nice rough piece where you can see the actual rock of it, the actual stone, and that lovely green, that lovely minty green. So there's no judgment. When you think how Mary Magdalene judged and how she overcame all that judgment, oh, that's a nice slice. That's beautiful. Beautifully demonstrated there, Mr. Neil. Thank you so much. So I always say to people, if we go back and find a lifetime where, you've either been abused or you've been an abuser, have this stone, because it's a stone of no judgment. We're all on our soul's journey. We're all learning just as others are. So we shouldn't judge them, and we mustn't judge ourselves. We integrate that. It was a lesson learnt. So we deal with it in different ways. So that's one I use quite a lot if I'm doing healing one-to-one with a client and we're healing something on past lives. I put that around them, or I give it to them to hold, to say, this was just part of your soul's journey, just part of your learning. Years and years ago, I went with a friend and we went to a hypnotherapist to have a past life, and talked us back into different lifetimes of ours. I was fine, but she had a lifetime that really shook her to the core. And at the time, he didn't really know how to deal with that. It opened a can of worms for her, and she ended up having counselling because she'd re-experienced it. And because he talked us back into a previous lifetime, she'd relived it, and she couldn't let go of that. So it was long before I started doing this work, but it made me realize, if we do hit something, if we do find that we're still drawing on an energy that is a lifetime that really was very, very difficult, we have to be able to deal with that. And Variscite helps hugely with that, hugely. So another one that I use is Prehnite.
Oh, I love this stone. Oh, can we put that up at 6:45? Oh, my word, Hilary, that's a fine pair.
There you go. You like a fine pair? Where did you find those, Adam?
Oh, that should have come with a health warning.
They look like scoops of mint ice, don't they? Like ice cream scoops.
I love how your mind works compared to how my mind works.
Yeah,
2
you said
scoops of
bollocks
mint
and I
ice
think that's
cream.
cream.
It's not what I thought of, but let's go.
Well, I've never seen a pear that colour, Dan.
I think
that
I
would
think
be
there's more than
Spencer,
past
the
life that's
doctor.
gone on with those.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not
Oh, beautiful.
this is not a GP consultation video. If anyone's just joined us and thought the same as me what this picture is, please don't send any pictures of yours.
No, no, don't take it to the doctors.
Yeah.
Prehnite really, really helps. A lot of us, especially a lot of us on our spiritual path, have had past life persecution. So this lifetime, people are now afraid of their psychic abilities. They're afraid to open up because either, you know, the most common, I suppose, is burnt at the stake as witch. Although they hung most of them, they didn't burn that many. But we've been through lots of lives where we were persecuted for our beliefs, which is why we've come through to this lifetime believing in spiritual energies, because it encompasses all religions. So any past life stuff that is, when I've gone back and had a look, and might have been in the Spanish Inquisition, or you might have been persecuted as a, you know, just weird, you know, a herbalist, and you were talking to the devil. This stone really helps that through this lifetime. Prehnite, do not be afraid of your abilities now. This has taken you lifetimes of learning, lifetimes of experience to come to this point now. So this is a lovely stone to have with you if you're starting to open up to spirit, and it brings up sometimes those fears from the past. So Prehnite is a lovely one, whether it's in balls or not.
We're gonna get the royal spanking from the head of production for this.
Sorry.
Don't be.
Right, another stone I use is smoky quartz, and I'm sure you know you've all seen this on Dan's lovely crystal shows. The smoky quartz or smoky amethyst is the best, because the amethyst will transmute any negativity, and the smoky is very detoxing, so it helps clear. So clearing, oh, look at that, that's beautiful. That's a scepter.
I do believe it is.
That the formation of the scepter, where it's very narrow at the base, very small at the base, and just like the scepters, the orbs, we have the orbs.
I was about to say. It's a good job we weren't doing them in pairs.
Oh gosh. Oh dear. It also looks as if that might be a channeler, so you might be able to channel. But the scepter, doesn't it? Is it 7 sides, 7 edged, that biggest face? So the smoky amethyst, you've got that lovely detoxing, but also the transmutation there with the violet flame. And the scepter is of any person of any standing. So for that shape, in particular, it would be if you've had a position of authority, and maybe that's still affecting you. It might be distorted ego base, then that scepter shape. But oh, look, that's a lovely one, Dan.
You're not the first one to say
that. I actually have a sphere of smoky amethyst, and that's usually my centerpiece when I do past life release. Because of the combination of the smoky quartz with the amethyst, it works perfectly together. It's a very loving, very gentle, it's easy to let go with that stone. It's beautiful. Yeah, I like that piece. I like that a lot. Right.
Beautiful.
We do sometimes come up, when we're doing past life work, we come up sometimes with soul contracts. things that we have agreed with another person, another member of our soul group. And I know this has come up as an example for me. I've learned a lot about abusive relationships. Several. It's going to make me sound like an old slapper now, but several relationships. And I've learned about, they've all professed to love me, but wanted to change me. One really thought, lovely guy, but he thought he could make me a better person. I've had some that, you know, wanted to control me or wanted to change me or wanted me to be something else, all because they love me, or protect me and cocoon me so that I couldn't breathe. So it all, to me, feels like abuse in the name of love. One guy absolutely broke my heart. But when I started doing this work, and particularly with the past lives, I realized these were soul contracts. These were agreements with those in spirit who loved me the most. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. So if we're wanting to learn difficult lessons, who's going to volunteer to be the one to hurt you, or the one to give you that lesson, to give you that experience? Only those who love you. So sometimes those soul contracts affect us still in this lifetime, and we may meet somebody who this lifetime you've got no issue with them, but you feel that contract, it draws you to them, and it might not be right this lifetime. So for that, I use rainbow obsidian, because that's a lovely stone to see the light in the dark, to see the rainbow of light, different colours reflected in the obsidian. So when we think that the things are the darkest of things, the most difficult things that we go through, those contracts where we think, oh gosh, this is weighing me down, rainbow obsidian lets you see the light, lets you see the colours, lets you see that these heavy lessons are done with love, and that they're the hardest ones to break and the hardest ones to get over. But rainbow obsidian is a beautiful, beautiful stone. It's very grounding, so it helps you feel very secure with that and very safe, that you know that this has gone on through more than just this lifetime, and that there is that light at the end of it. So beautiful stone, nice in a heart. That's lovely. Yes, yeah, I like that one. So it's a
Very
nice
nice,
one to use if
very
people.
poignant for what you were talking about.
Yes,
Being in a heart shape, I think it's very nice to.
Definitely. Yeah, that's beautiful. Really beautiful. Right, on from that we have sugilite, and that's a lovely stone for forgiveness. So it took ages after I had my heart broken. It took me ages. For 6 years, I couldn't even talk to another man because I thought they were all the same. So forgiveness was really hard, but once it came to the point where I understood that this was an agreement and that it was done out of love, sugilite was the crystal that I carried with me for ages, because understanding that I could forgive, you know, and I could say, actually, you know what, thank you for the experience. I also had my ex-husband, my children's father, didn't treat us nicely. He was a very he was a difficult soul and struggled a lot, and he wasn't very kind to us. And so when eventually, you know, when we did split up and I was going through all my spiritual journey and expanding and understanding these soul contracts more, I was able to look back and think, do you know what? He gave the absolute best of himself to my children. And when he went, and he never interfered again, he never contacted us, because he just left me to bring them up on my own, which I know was my choice for this lifetime. And I understood why it had to be, I'd have children with him, because then I could break away and bring them up on my own. Sujilite helped me to understand that, you know, thank you for the experience, thank you for the lesson. When I was a little girl, only 3 or 4, and I vaguely remember it, but I remember my mum telling me more that, you know, people would come to me and say, and what do you want to be when you grow up, Hilary? And my answer was always a mummy. And there was one friend of my mum's who said, well, I hope you have a lovely husband to be the daddy. And this little 4-year-old tot looks up and goes, no, no daddy. And of course, my mum saying, ha, you know, she doesn't really understand that you kind of need both. But no, I'm sure I knew that I was to have children on my own, which is why I didn't have any with my first husband, because he was quite decent. He was nice guy. So I'd have stuck it out with him. We were just very young. But it had to be with the one who was difficult, troubled, and didn't treat us very well, so that then I could break away from him and bring them up on my own, which I'm so grateful for the opportunity he gave me. And Sujilite helped me to realise and accept that. And for a long time, I kept his picture with a piece of Sujilite. He's passed now, so I've been able to say to him, thank you so much for giving me that experience. So Sujilite helps with grief. You know, it helps with grief. It helps with forgiveness. When people are going through grief now in this lifetime, Sujilite is a lovely soothing stone where you can see the best. It's very, very deep purpley pink in black. And again, it's the darkness of it where you see that transition. You see the light of the, you know, of the violet flame, and you see that transformation within it. So lovely stone. If you're going through grief, if you're struggling with issues like I've described, then please do get some. It's not the cheapest, but it is a lovely stone to work with.
Right. I love it.
It is. It's beautiful, isn't it? I've got some here beside me. It stays with me, and it's always there beside my computer. And I think it also, I find it helps to see the positive in everything, and to keep things, you know, keep things the bigger picture. Right, the next one I use is iolite, and iolite is a beautiful stone.
I love it. Now,
it's lovely. It's very, very nice for the third eye because it is that indigo colour. It's a lovely stone. To me, it integrates all those lifetimes. So I offer it to people, or I use it and work with it. That's a lovely picture too, Adam. Thank you for that. It helps to integrate all those. You've got that bluey colour, which is the dark blue of learning. You've got the purpley colour of the transformation, and you've got the black, and you've got the lighter colours as well. So it's that integration of all those. Oh, I like that wand. Oh, that's really beautiful. Oh, I might have to talk to you about that. So this
talk to me, Hilary.
Journey.
Tell me all about it.
I like your wand. Oh, and that. Oh, that's nice too. This helps to bring all those things together and see that, you know, even the hardest lessons, they're the ones we learn the most from, and the hardest experiences this lifetime are the ones we learn the most from. Iolite helps you to see that psychically, to see it through your third eye, through your inner wisdom. And that the third eye, as you know, leads straight from your pineal gland into there. It's buried. The pineal gland is like a little pine cone gland, buried right between the two halves of your brain. And interestingly, you see the pine cone as a symbol. It's on the Pope's staff. His wand has a pine cone at the top, and it's that that is our third eye. That is the gland that emits and absorbs light. So they've proved that now scientifically. So science does catch up with us with what we spiritually know, but eventually. But our light is the one that helps us to see it from that perspective. So we see those past lives, and we see the things that we struggle with, or they see our soul's journey from that perspective of our higher self. So iolite is a beautiful, beautiful stone. It's lovely. Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Fave. My fave.
It's
in our wedding rings.
Is it? Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yes, we have a bit
That
of...
holds your souls together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, your higher selves as one. Oh, that's lovely. Were both the rings, were they taken from the same piece?
I don't... Oh, it's... We weren't that fussed. I don't know. I don't
Been
know.
just
We'll have to
nice.
find out.
They'd have come from the same sort of source anyway, because whoever made them, they would have sourced them from the same area. So the last one that I do use, that I like very much, when we've gone through, sometimes when I'm doing past life readings with people, and we go through the whole emotions, and we talk through everything, and quite often there's tears, quite often there's that that where it's really got to people, especially if it's something that's really been difficult or it's really touched them deeply. Kunzite. Kunzite is so nice for heart chakra, which is our soul heart. This is our energy center that we carry lifetime after lifetime. And Kunzite, that beautiful pink, it's starting to go into the more purpley pink range. And there's a dragon. Thanks, Adam. Kunzite is very much for purifying that journey, for seeing it how it is, and seeing and letting that love come through. So the love of your soul for all of your journey, and your love for yourself, going through all experiences that you've been through. It's amazing when you think how many times we live, how many lessons we learn, the things that we go through. We are incredible beings. And Kunzite to me really reaffirms that everything you've done, everything you've learned is the love of your soul, the love of your higher self, for the spark of that energy that's in you now. So it's a beautiful, beautiful stone. All of these are available at ROX. If you've liked any of them, please do get in touch with Dan, because I know, bless you, Dan, you got some in, didn't you? Especially for this. And they are so nice. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stones that I have in a little past life kit bag. And I do take them with me, and I do take them to shows, so that I can say to people, if there is something here that you feel particularly drawn to, or you feel has helped you, then they're my demo stones, and then I would send them on to somebody else to buy them, but they're lovely stones. They all have slightly different aspects, but they all link very nicely to past lives. They all help you through that journey and help you to integrate it all and love it and love the journey. So yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you very much for being the glamorous assistant that you are.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, they're lovely. Oh, yeah, we'll do that again. We'll have to find some other, because I've got loads of other subjects and things that we do.
Yeah.
And we could do some crystal journeys to the stars and all sorts of other Oh,
This year
very
is
nice.
all about collaborating and connecting.
Yeah,
I would love to
isn't it?
collaborate with you.
That would be lovely. Yes, please. Yes, that would
Yes.
be really nice. Really
We will have
nice.
more. We will have more of you anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'd
no,
love to.
it is nice. And it is interesting the crystals that you have got in your demo kit, because
Yeah.
there are some amazing ones there. And yeah, hearing you talking
Mm.
about those, it's like, yes, yes. I think we can
Yeah.
so relate to that. And it might be that we can relate to that issue, and that issue might be due to our past life.
Mm. Yes. It's everybody feels and senses different crystals very differently. So if you were to pick some out for past life work, you would possibly pick different crystals.
Sure.
But these are the ones that resonate with me, with the work that I do. But yes, it's that's why it's always really nice to see what other people think and other people feel, because ultimately you go with what's right for you. And all these viewpoints and things, all the things that I've described of these crystals is my view, my personal feelings for them and how I resonate with them. Whereas, different people resonate with things differently. So don't think this is a definitive list and that's it and you've got to stick to it. You may come across a different crystal that you find really works with you. I know you use lapis, don't you, for astral travel?
Yes.
That always, yeah, makes you feel. So it's what's comfortable for you that you must work with. But yeah, this is my past life kit. So yeah, nice to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. It works really well. And also, what I love about you, Hilary, is you're very open. And even through those talking about those crystals, you brought in your own personal circumstances. You brought your own personal life into that, which makes it even more understanding and relating, and we can resonate with.
Yes, well, we've all had tough times, and often people say, yes, I've been there myself. So, it's what we find relates to us. So, yeah, I have very few secrets. I do have some. There are some things about which I will not talk, but
They're
the
all on
rest of it is
Google.
just open book. Only on adult sites.
But one thing I would like to get into, and I don't know if you want to set the scene, but it was what you shared with me the other day about your gorgeous granddaughter,
Yeah.
which for me really brought the past life chat to a full
Yes.
circle, and really just thought, wow. And
Yes. Yeah.
you have agreed to share this with us, which I am
Yeah. I
truly
asked
honoured
them.
to. And you have asked the family that are involved
Yeah.
to share it,
Mm.
if it's
My
okay to
granddaughter
share.
is now up to 15, and I did say, I wanted to share some of the things that she did and said, I don't mind, Grandma, if you talk about me, if it'll help anybody else. So I said, well, that's lovely, and I will. When she was very, very little, when she was born, she stayed with me a lot because my daughter, her mum was poorly and she got chickenpox from the midwife. So I went round and looked after my granddaughter right from birth. And my daughter and her partner were very young, so I would have Esme come and stay with me every weekend. to give them a break so that they could still go out, and because I loved it. So we have a really, really close bond. Poor child, she even looks like me. I'd pick her up from school and they'd say, we don't need to ask who you're here for. And she'd come toddling out of school and people would say, gosh, aren't you like your grandma? And she'd say, no, I'm not wrinkly. So we have a very close bond. But she was staying with me, so right from a baby. So when she was 6 months old, she was in bed with me because she was teething, and I suddenly felt her energy go, and I felt it just, and I looked up and I went to Spirit, no, you can't take her. And my twin flame, who's in Spirit now, he said, but she's only gone off out to do some healing. So I said, but she's 6 months, she's tiny. And he said, how old do you have to be? He said, she's only doing what you do. If you're so worried, go and find her. So I went out of body and I followed her energy, and I found her. I saw her in my mum and dad's bedroom, and I saw her as a grown woman of about mid-20s, standing with her hands out over my mum, who was poorly. And I sort of stood the other side of the bed and I looked at her, and she just looked up at me, and eyes wide, as if saying, oh, Grandma, you know, I know what I'm doing. So I said, oh, don't be long. And I came back into my body in the bed, and I looked at her, and her breathing was so shallow. And I was thinking, oh, hurry up, hurry up. She suddenly took a great big deep breath in. She opened her eyes and looked at me, and then went back to sleep. And I thought, oh God. So I always knew right from the start that she had this gift, that she was going to do and say incredible things and teach me a lot. So the one that I know you're referring to, Dan, was when she was about 3.5, 4. And she was in the car with me, and she chatting away in her car seat in the back. And she said, Grandma, I can remember when I had really, really tiny little feet, like that, really tiny feet. So I said, well, you've just had some new shoes, so they're bigger than that now, aren't they? And she said, yes, but then when I had really tiny feet, she said, I can remember thinking about it, and I had a big head with no ears, and my head was resting on my knees. And I remember looking down and seeing, oh, I've got really tiny feet. And then I was dead. And I thought, oh, you know, white knuckles on the steering wheel. And she went, but I'm alive again now, aren't I? And I went, yes. And she said, I said, were you on your own when you had tiny little feet? Because years and years before my daughter was pregnant, she was only 12, 13, I saw Tom Smith, who's a well-known medium here in Bournemouth, and he said, I've got your grandmother here, the one whose ring you wear, and she's got 2 babies here, and she's giving one of them back to you. So at the time I went, oh, no, not me. This, you know, no baby's coming to me now. So he said, well, you know, she wants you to have one of them. So I asked my dad, whose mum it was, and he said, yes, he knew that, or he always felt that his mum had had a miscarriage. He didn't know it was twins, but he said, you know, it fits with the timeline and the gap between he and his younger brother. And he said it just wasn't talked about, but he knew his mum was poorly and he knew it was something to do with that. So we always knew. So when Esme was born, we thought, my dad and I, you know, thought, is this Nana's baby coming back? So we always felt that. And that's why I asked her if, when she saw her tiny little feet in the womb and then was dead, was she on her own? And she said, no, there was another one in there with me, Grandma, but that one was already dead. So I realised that she could remember being miscarried in another lifetime. So this was all perfectly normal. Then it was almost immediately, oh, Grandma, there's a horse in that field. Can we stop and feed it? And you're thinking, oh, you know, what you've just said, how can I now just carry on? It's normal.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things I didn't tell my daughter, because at the time, you know, she wanted to think her baby was a new baby. And that would have been, I think that would have freaked her out to think that her baby could have been her grandfather's sister. I mean, that's something you can't get your head around. So going forward another year or so, and she was staying with me, and we were making toast one morning, and she was around my legs, and she was trying to get between my legs and the cupboard. And I looked down at her and I said, what's the matter, Ezzy? And she said, your Nana's here. So by that time, we'd got used to the fact that she could see and hear very, very clearly. So I turned round and looked in my kitchen and said, oh, she's over by the microwave. And Esme said, yeah, she's just standing there. So I said, go and give her a hug, because I knew that for my Nana, this was her baby. So she said, is that all right? And I said, yes, go and give her a hug. She'd love to. She'd love you to. So Esme went toddling over there and put her arms out and went, oh, it's all tickly. She went, oh, it's all tickly, Grandma. And I said, yes, it will be. But I could feel my Nana, you know, really, oh, gosh, this is just amazing. And then Esme came back, you know, round my legs, and she suddenly went very like this. And I said, what's the matter now? And she said, your granddad's here. And my granddad always comes through as a very big energy, often as a Native American Indian. He doesn't come through very often, but when he does, his energy is really... So I said, do you want to go and give him a hug as well? And so she did, and she went, he's even more tickly. And then she came back, and she was just standing there, and she kept looking up at me and looking back over at them in the corner of my kitchen. And she said, can I tell you something? So I said, yes, anything. She said, they were going to be my mummy and daddy too, weren't they? She said, not my mummy and daddy I've got now. She said, but they were my mummy and daddy. And so I said, yes, they were. And I said, now you know who they are. I said, do you want to tell them, you know, that you know? And she went back over into the corner, and she said, I don't mind, they can tickle me now. And it was just, I was scraping the butter on the toast, thinking, oh my God. You know, it's just, she knew, you know, and she knew at that age that she was nearly born before. And a lot of children, you know, they know their past lives. I've not encountered anybody else who's known that they've been a miscarriage, but she knew that connection with my Nana and Granddad. And that, to me, she's come back into the family. Children often do. Souls, spirits come back. If they've been lost, they often still choose to come back into that same family. And so when I told my dad, he was absolutely in tears, because that to him was confirmation, you know, that this little soul, his first, this little granddaughter would have been his sister. And that was, you know, that was just such a beautiful connection that we used to talk about quite a bit, but we never told her. So I doubt they're listening, because it's Saturday night, and I said to Dan, red wine and a film is more their sort of thing than listening to me. But they did say I could say anything about her. So children do know.
It really touches me, and I just find it so amazing. It's really touching. I'm trying to speak, but it's so nice that she had you to talk about that, and that's why I'm glad that we got the confirmation that we could say that, because the beginning of our time on the video, people were talking about their children, and to me the energy was building. I thought, yes, you know, because if you were one of the parents or the grandparents and said, oh, you know, that's just an imaginary friend, you know, what are you talking about, don't be so daft, you know, you wouldn't have got to this whole circle. And that's what I love, is the fact that you're open, you're in your true spiritual path, and your granddaughter resonated with that and was able to talk to you, and you accepted it. And it was yeah, it's just so touching to have that connection with somebody. And thank you for sharing it. Thank you.
I can see now why Tom said your grandmother wants to give you her baby. It was, you know, she was coming back into the family, but she's been very much with me. So it is, I can see why Nana wanted me to know that before she came, and to know that this was going to be somebody that I feel a deep connection with, which is, yeah, it is, it's beautiful. And I think there are a lot of children who are aware of their past lives and aware of places they've lived, families they've been in. And I do think children all have that very strong sense of who they are, of their soul and the journey they've been on. But we tend to lose it. I mean, she's coming up to 15 now, so, you know, this is just, it's all out the window. But I've told her, and I've written it all down, so it may come back when she's older, just like it did for me. Growing up, I didn't, it just, other things, life got in the way. And then all of a sudden something happens and it starts again. So I know that, you know, when hers does, she won't be afraid of it, because she hears me still talk about it. But yeah, she's been really, really interesting. But that on the past lives was just wow, just wow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, and like what we said the other day, you know, when we hit the teenage, I, you know, for me, I felt like I had to close down, because your teenage years is your physical years. This is where the hormones get pumped around. This is where your body changes. So it's that physical that you do just go in and do that. And then when the time is right, and, you know, you may have grown up, you may have not. When the time is right, you connect back up. But it's nice that you've got everything on file. You've got everything written down for her. So if she's like that, you'll be like, this is where it began.
Yes. Right from when she was, you know, before she could speak, she was clearly seeing spirit. And even then, when she was, one Christmas, we were all sitting around having dinner together, and in her high chair, she suddenly spun round and pointed out into my hallway and started waving. So I said, who is it, Esme? And she looked back at me, and she used to call me Gangma, Gangma, and look. And she looked, because I looked and I could sense then it was my Nana. This is long before she told me, you know, or remembered having been part of their family. Look. And I looked, and my dad looked over at me and said, "Who is it?" And I said, "It's your mum." And she looked all the way around the table, and she immediately reached out to my dad and said, "Look." So she saw that connection between the two of them straight away. She didn't, you know, all the rest of the family around there was no. She knew who that lady was right then. She was, you know, only months old in a high chair, couldn't really speak. So yeah, she's always had that, and she's taught me loads, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is
And there was the
fantastic.
time, and there was a time when her own father was going to go and sleep in a car.
He did, yes, he did. It harks back a little bit to Karen's question about, you know, sometimes she sees things that aren't nice. Because as I was in bed with her mum and dad, and she kept waving to people, and Mark was saying, "Esme, stop it, stop waving to dead people." And she went, "No." So she was still sort of babbling away to them, and suddenly she pulled the covers up and she saw something that she didn't like. And he went, what is it? What are you doing now? And he said, "How many dead people are in this room?" And she went, "There, there, 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 there." No, like that one. So he went and slept in the car. This is too freaky.
Yeah.
She did. And it's, you know, Karen might be interested that when Esme was little and she was getting a bit bothered by a spirit who was, you know, not there for her best interests, and went and we did get rid of it. And years later, she must have been about 7 or 8, when my son rang me and said, "Are you coming over? When you come over for Jessica's birthday, can you check the house? Because something keeps waking her up at 2 o'clock every morning and she's screaming and we can't settle her." He said, and my son is very psychic, but it's all rubbish. It's all, no, it doesn't exist. So denies it all. So I went over and I went up to their room, and yes, I found a couple of lads, their spirits around, just mischief making, and got rid of them. And then I thought, oh, you know, when your hackles go up, you think, oh, okay, so there's something else here as well. And I heard Esme shouting up, "Grandma, Grandma, I'm coming up. What are you doing?" And I went, "No, Esme, wait downstairs with the others. I've just got something to do up here in Uncle Pete's room. So, no, I'm coming up." She came to the doorway, she looked and she went, "I don't like this one." And I went, "No." She said, "It's the ghost that eats all the light." So I said, "Yes. Do you remember what we did before?" And she said, "Yes, I do." She said, "Come on, Grandma, let's get rid of him." So she came in and she took hold of my hands, and I said, "Do you remember what we say first?" And she said, "Yes, we're not afraid and you don't belong here." So I went, "Okay, come on, let's get rid of him." So we did, and I do what I do when I get rid of any spirits that don't belong in this realm. And she did it, and she went, "That's it, he's gone. Come on, Grandma, they're just about to light the candles on the cake." You know, it's all so normal.
That is.
And you just think, you know, at 7 or 8, just, it's all so normal, which it is. So long as you're not afraid. Fear holds us back.
Absolutely.
I was lucky to have a dad that taught me there is nothing in this world or beyond to ever be afraid of. So I never have. So, yeah. But Karen, yes, sometimes there are, you know, energies out there. Some are just belligerent and awkward ones that come through. If they've been belligerent and awkward when they were alive, they don't change always. And some come through that are, you know, not from this realm. They don't belong here. So off ski. You're not
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, children do. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. If you give them that acknowledgement and allow them to be and say who they are and what they think and what they feel and what they see, and acknowledge that, they just grow with it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, if you've got kids like that, treasure. It's a treasure.
Write it down, keep a file, and
Yes.
let them, you know, show them what it was that they used to do when it comes back to them. Absolutely. Hilary, thank you so much. I thought that we would only have time to do the past lives. So this means, please will you come back and talk about your dragons?
Absolutely, anytime.
Please come back and talk about your violet flame.
Yes, I'm coming down to teach you all that.
You are. And if anybody has any questions to ask Hilary, please do so, because I'm going to talk a little bit about her now, about what she was doing this afternoon on Serenity, because it wasn't just an interview, sweetheart. There is a show.
Yes, there is. I'm going to be covering all sorts of different things. So when Michelle asked me if I'd do a show, and she said, you have to come up with a name. And I thought, you know, what name can I have? So I asked my guides for some inspirations. What name can I give? You know, what will encompass all that I do? And immediately I saw a compass with all the different points and the needles spinning round. And I thought, oh, spiritual compass. I suppose that points in all directions. So I'm going to be covering things from archangels, ascended masters, the dragons, past lives, obviously, but all those other beings out there, the elementals, the pyramids, ancient gods, which is another one I'm coming to do with you, isn't it? Gods of the ancient world.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Egyptian, the Greek, and the Norse. So all those different energies that are out there, I'm going to be talking about every week. I'm not sure yet when, but
there's no time yet, is there?
No, I don't think she's done. She's going to phone me, I think Monday, she said, and let me know when the show will go out. So, but if you've got any questions on anything, it doesn't have to be on past lives, just because that's what we've been talking about. Because even that's a huge subject. You know, we've got new souls, old souls, twin souls, twin flames, soulmates. There's a lot. It's a big subject. A lot of it is on my website, so you can always have a look. You can always get in touch with me and ask. But yes, you've got
you have got your new website. You've been busy during this period of brushing up your computer skills, and you've got a new website.
Yes, I have. Yes, it's spiritwise.info. spiritwise.info. So I wanted it to be, the name was given to me. My guides just said, I heard it quite clearly, looked it up, and I thought I want it to be about information and sharing what people know and what people experience. So I saw that and thought, that's the name for me, spiritwise.info. So yeah, there's a lot about past lives there. Things to include past life wounds that we still bring through, different things on our bodies that we still, oh, thank you, yes, there it is. It's on the screen.
I didn't even use my hands.
He's a whiz, he really is. So yeah, wounds and scars, birthmarks are often old wounds. So it is a huge subject. So not just, you know, about the children, but about all sorts of things. There's so many reasons for fears and phobias that come through. So yeah, I'm happy, very happy to chat about it and to help anybody who's struggling with any issues
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah. So if anybody's got anything that they don't feel comfortable sharing on a public forum, please either find Hilary on Facebook or go to her website, and she'll be happy to answer your questions there. So many people are saying thank you for sharing. Very interesting. People find you fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
You are, Hilary. You are. I mean, how foolish were we the other day putting this tonight into 3 sections?
Thinking we cover 3 subjects.
3 subjects. You having a laugh when you've got a husband that puts up a pair of balls and something that looks like, you know, if he was a bit more sensible with pictures, we might have had a little bit more of a flow.
That was brilliant. Your Prehnite balls, when you said bollocks, Prehnite balls. They were lovely.
We've now got this background cover.
There they are. I can see
Yeah,
them in
they
the
are.
background.
Oh look, and it made me. I'm in one ball. You're in another.
Side by side, Dan.
And yeah, unfortunately, Serenity is a radio station. You can find them on Facebook, but it is a radio station that you need an app for. I know they are after 2,000 likes on their Facebook page, and then they'll be able to get a player for Facebook.
Yes.
So if you've not liked Serenity Radio on Facebook, please go over there, give them a like, and just see what they are doing. It's a new radio station for well-being that's been launched today. So find them on Facebook. And yeah, unfortunately, we can't link it together because I don't even think Biggles upstairs could do that. I don't know if you could do a radio show linked in with the business page, but we will be putting up posts supporting some of these amazing presenters because some of them are dear to Dan ROX. So when they are on, I will give these people a push. So when we know when Hilary's on, I will be singing it from the rooftops.
And she's going to be calling you, isn't she? So it looks like you'll be having a show.
I'm not past the interview yet. That's yes,
and have to pass the interview. We chatted this morning, Michelle and I, and she said how interested she was how you link the spirit animals with the crystals, and she said she's really looking forward to chatting to you about that. And it's something that is unique to you. So, you know, I'm sure there will be a Dan ROX show.
Yeah,
which is lovely. It's going to be brilliant.
3 o'clock on Monday. She's going to be giving me a ring, and we're going to. Well, it's a Zoom. We're going to be having a conversation over Zoom. So just before 3 o'clock, guys, get your fingers crossed for me, and yeah, I might be on there too if the interview's a success. But yeah.
Well, she's met you both before, hasn't she? So she knows who you are. And it's lovely, you know, we were talking about it this morning. It's lovely to have, you know, more men and women, because so many of us in this field, there's so many women doing, you know, following their spiritual path and talking about it. The men are usually, apart from you, much quieter, usually quieter about it.
I think I'm the reason the men are quiet.
Yeah, yes.
I'm speaking for them all.
Yeah.
But no, it is an interesting. It is an interesting subject because Patrick, I was in my aromatherapy workshop today with Anne Paulette. So as soon as you finished, I went on to the room to do that because that started at 3. So unfortunately, I didn't get to hear Patrick's interview. But I know, has he got a show? Does he know what he's doing?
I don't know. I don't know. Does he? He's doing. I really don't know.
It made me laugh because I thought we both said today when we listened to your interview, I went trying to, has anyone prepped Patrick? Is Patrick okay? Is he going to be all right? Because bless him, it's like, has Michelle got 2 weeks to do this interview? Because bless him, he is amazing. So I'm gutted that I missed that, and I'm gutted that I missed our shout out. So I have asked if there's a replay button or if there's something where we can catch up so I can hear all that. But where are all the men? Where are the spiritual men?
Where's the divine masculine?
Yeah, it's not in this, sweetheart. The divine masculine was not in my body. But yeah, it will be nice. I'm looking forward. But like you, I am trying to drum up a name for it, and I am banging my head about it. So
just
it will
ask.
come.
Just ask.
That is it.
All the people that have ever sat in groups with me and done workshops with me say they're going to, they're going to carve on my headstone. I mean, this is a lovely thought from your friends about grounding, clearing and protection, because I always go on about those. And they said they're going to carve in big letters, "Did you ask?" Because I get people who, bring them back out of a meditation and they say, wow, I saw this, or I got that, or I heard this. What does it mean? So I always say, did you ask?
Yeah.
Your guides are there. Did you ask them what it means?
Yeah. No point asking us.
I know.
We're just holding the space. It's down to what links you and what you resonate and take with that. So, yes. Did you ask?
Did you
May I borrow that?
Of course you can.
I have got a bit of a quote of Hilary Stanley book forming.
You've got double the bubble.
Yes, my favourite one that you say to me is, if in doubt, double the bubble. I love it. I always, when I go into a supermarket, when I go head on onto these zombies that are walking around, I just think, Hilary, double the bubble, and then I enter.
Yes, it doesn't have to be complicated, and I think with all these things, all the things I do, I used to have a shop and healing centre in Bournemouth for about 3 years. And I had a lovely girl, Sam Sparrow, used to work for me there. And we would always say to each other, keep it real, keep it simple. Because people would come in and I do this and I do that and this, and, talk in language that who knows what they're saying. They're just trying to make themselves look really clever. Mm-hmm. And there's no need. It can be simple. Protection, bubble of gold light around you. If you feel a bit iffy, double the bubble. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to recite things or do anything. So it's always been important to me, whatever I'm doing, keep it real and keep it simple, because that's life.
Absolutely.
We still got those Prehnite balls going on behind us.
I know. I've actually, I've kind of like got the grasp of, it's like the Eden Garden. The Eden.
Yes.
What's that place
Eden
called in
Project.
Cornwall? The Eden Project.
Yeah,
That's
Eden.
it. Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
I could be in the Mediterranean biome. You could be in the
Yeah.
tropical biome.
Tropical be a bit hot for me. I
You
could be in the
may remove
Iceland
layers. Julie has said, Julie Moody, she has said that her husband Kim says, how about a session for men to help them along? So
Definitely.
yeah, I don't think it's my place to put that into practice, but I think there might be somebody out there who can.
Yes. Definitely. There's so many things. It always really irritates me, I suppose. The things like, I know the Red Tent does, lots of good things, and there's lots of empowering women groups and women only groups, and I just think, why? Why should they? Why exclude the men? Because I know we had a meditation group at Amethyst, and it was absolutely my ideal. We had a guy who was quite strict, and he was Jewish, and had the little skull cap, and had very specific and set views. We had an Italian Catholic lady. We had a lady with black and purple nails and witch, and very, very witchy, lovely girl. They were all lovely. We had an 80 plus year old Ken who was just fabulous. He could still break dance, and this group was just so diverse, and he would write. His meditation would be writing poetry, and just these beautiful words would come out. And we had such a diverse, we had a Muslim, an Indian Muslim girl, all in the same group, all meditating together, all, just sharing their journeys, from all different backgrounds, and just almost as many men as women. And we had a Mark, who Walter always called him Ramesses. He had a very strong Egyptian pharaoh sort of feel, so really diverse, and that I think was lovely, and it seems to have dwindled away, this sort of, it doesn't have to be just women.
No.
So I think we shouldn't have any exclusive.
Yeah, with the red tent and the room, with the red tent and the room work, men do have a cosmic womb. We can still sit in there, and that is it. Spiritual men lives matter.
Yes, definitely. There was a couple who helped me work on the dragons. Lovely, very dear couple, Alan and Joan, and he was a draftsman and an engineer and very science-minded, and he would come up with all sorts of questions that really made us all think in groups, sat in group with us for years, and then helped me, just the three of us, we worked together to bring through the energy of the dragons and all the wisdom of the dragons. He was absolutely superb, but a real man's man, really. Lovely guy. And just, I love to see that, and I think, where do they go? And people, Patrick, he's just, he's a one-off anyway, but there's nothing really that is inclusive, and it should all be inclusive. We shouldn't cut men out.
Absolutely. It's it needs that. Even for this show, even for all, Patrick was my first male, and I was running the special guests twice a week from May, and trying to get out there. So guys, if you're watching and you've got a spiritual path and you would like to come on board and talk about it, I would love to have more men come onto here and share, because it's what it happens is for a man to see that and go, I can link with that, and then they're going to feel more comfortable. It's that rolling stone. Once one man finds it, another man, it will help so many more to find it. So
Definitely.
yeah, let's get the energy rolling for that. Anyway,
Yes.
I must let you go, sweetheart, because I know you've had a busy, awesome day.
Thank you. Oh, big thank you. It's a pleasure. And if anyone does want to ask anything, then please do get in touch, because that's what I'm here for. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been really lovely. And I know we could go on talking all night, because we do.
We do. I know.
Thank you.
I literally sat here thinking, oh, actually, we're not on a Facebook video call. We're actually live. So yes.
Yeah.
I'll let you get your gin and tonic, and you can sit down.
My dinner.
Take your weight off your feet. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to having you back again.
Definitely. Dragons next. Definitely. Lovely to chat to you, Dan, and lots of love to Adam too. Mwah.
You take care, sweetheart. Have a good night. Have a good few days.
You too. Will do.
Speak to you soon, sweetheart.
You too. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
What a beautiful, beautiful lady. We could talk all night, no doubt about that. So we will schedule her in for the Realm of Dragons, and we will get her in for the to talk about the Violet Flame as well. So just to let people know, tomorrow is our day off, and if you're connecting to crystals, tomorrow is also your day off. Please feel free to come and join us on Monday nights, where we're starting our little development kind of group. We're looking into the Oracle cards for my personal reasons, because I need to get back into this. I've been pushed by the universe to get back into my Oracle cards. So I'm using the people who are coming online as a means of guinea pigs to test them on. But also Monday would be our new week of connecting with the crystals. So if you're doing the chakras, we'll be looking for the third eye crystals. So any crystal you want to connect with, feel free to. And if any of you are going rogue, then please just choose a crystal. And on Monday, just find a quiet space somewhere where you could just spend a couple of moments connecting to that crystal. And then when I come on live at 6, I would love to hear how the end of this week summarized, how that felt with the throat or whatever crystal you connected with. And we'll also discuss Monday's connection as well. And then we'll go into doing the Oracle cards. Okay. And then Tuesday is, as normal, a crystal topic extravaganza. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. These live videos seem to be going on longer, but if people are here, if people are engaging and people are interested, I'm happy to go along. Thank you for supporting Hilary, and I will keep you updated when her show is on Serenity too. So from me, from Biggles, thank you all so much for supporting what we do. Love you all. Good night from me.